I've always taken pride in taking up and coming poets under my wing and trying to give them a jump start in the spoken word scene. And it's always good to see, you know, some poets doing their thing. And it's also good to see the poets that I didn't help do their thing, you know. Watching how the scene has changed over the years with spoken word. And so that's always been a good thing. The sad part about that is the poets who don't do anything with they start, who don't, you know. I can put a poet on a stage in front of a lot of people, and I can, you know, put them on several shows, and they can start making a name, but then they don't do anything else, and then they don't come out and support other poets, or they don't come out and support unless they're on the stage, and that's the downside to helping other poets out. Another downside is when a poet the same poet that you help begin to sort of forget that you helped them, or they just seem to forget, and they never want to return the favor, or they never want to. I don't know what that's about. It goes back to loyalty, you know, that we talked about earlier. That, you know, if somebody looks out for me and somebody takes care of me, then that, you know, for me personally, my own personal code of ethics is I'm never gonna forget that person. I'm always keep them a part of what I do, and they'll be the first one to.
No matter how far you go up.
No matter, you know, I never forget, never, and that's probably from growing up poor. You know, you keep your word. You know, when you don't have money, all you have is your word. So, you know, growing up with those ethics, I believe in loyalty, because at the end, you know, loyalty does not cost money. You know, it just, all you have to do is keep your word and be real and unselfish. And that's something that I have not seen with some of the poets that I've helped. You know, that they not only are unloyal, but in some degree they're trying to tear you down once they get to a certain level, and it's disappointing. It's very disappointing, but, you know, you just got to kind of move on from there, you know, and that's it.
So you've been featured in a lot of spoken word shows, and now you've started to have your own shows. How successful have your shows been, and what do you think about the outcome of them?
You know, a lot of my shows have been, I would say, 85 to 90% of the shows that I do have been successful. Packed house, standing room only, and been very successful. I've had some loyal fans or supporters. I don't like calling them fans, but some loyal supporters, you know, so that is definitely has worked out for me. You know, you know, you get out of it what you put in, you know, and I think that people who respect the things that I talk about and knows that I'm not BSing them when I get on the mic. I take myself very serious when I get on the mic, that they're willing to come back and continue to pay to see me or continue to come out and support me. And they brag about me to their friends, and they give my CD away. You know, a lot of friends buy my CDs for their friend and all of this. So it's, you know, the shows have definitely been great for me in Nashville. Great for me. And I must say this while I'm on camera, you know, my audience is full of Nashville people in the city, the entire city, around the city. No artist ever come to my show. Like no other artist, very few other artists comes to a D-Revolution show. But yet my shows are still packed. Yet my shows are still well received. And that makes me feel good. You know, that I can bring in a crowd, not based on friends and family, but people who genuinely like what I do.
Can you come up with a reason as to why the other spoken word artists who quote unquote have names for themselves in the city also would not show their support? Or
I don't know. I can only speak for myself. For me personally, You know, if I can get out and go see another artist, I think I've gone to at least every artist in the city that I know of. At least they show at least once or twice. At some point or another, I've gone to support another artist. I've been out other venues and everything because I understand the importance of spoken word, and not just spoken word, but some of the local musical artists. I support them. The theater scene, I support that. I've been going to theater, to plays and different things for years, just out of support. So it's just one of those situations where, you know, I don't understand. You know, I think it's good when you go see another artist because it just helps your marketability. You know, you get something from that. It helps your marketability when you are able to get out and support somebody else.
Okay. I guess my last question going to be, you may have already answered it, being that as a spoken word artist, what is your biggest pet peeve about that, about spoken word, about that venue, about that genre to itself?
About spoken word?
Yes, whether it be.
My biggest issue, I can't even say it's a pet peeve, is that spoken word artists in this city, I've watched it change from a unified situation to just many different individuals trying to do something. Now, I'm on the outside looking in on the musical scene. When I see a lot of these R&B artists here in Nashville, they seem to help each other out quite a bit. They seem to help each other out a lot in terms of with shows. They seem to get along. It's not like that with spoken word. Is everybody seem to be competing with each other, and nobody wants to go support because, you know, he didn't put me on my show, he didn't put me on his show, and that doesn't make sense, you know. In order for this to work, you have to go support other artists, and
isn't that pretty much a top thing, but in the spoken word, because of all of the slams and things that they out there to really prove who's the best spoken word artist, and that mentality can be a contributor to them want to stand alone rather than
I think I'm a living proof that you can stand alone and still support. You know, I want to be the best too, and I say it on camera. I don't think any spoken word artist can do what I do in this city, but I'm not here to compete in a negative way, because your message the message that another person has in a spoken word is important to the world. So it doesn't matter to me, as long as you're teaching and as long as you are getting your message across. It really doesn't mean a whole lot to me to not support somebody who's getting their message out. I hope that came out right. You know, yeah. being competitive is cool, but when you get to a point where you feel like you can't go see this person or you can't go see that person, oh, it's just D-Rev, you know, you hurt yourself. I mean, in the long run, you are hurting yourself. Bottom line, in the long run, you're hurting yourself because you are an individual, and with you being an individual, you're not going to support particular people, but everybody that you're not supporting, not just that many people that's not going to support you. So you got to be careful with that. You got to be really, really careful with that.